Hey guys, Pete here. It's time for another update on all the news that is leaking out of the filming locations for Game of Thrones Season 7. This week the show started filming in Spain, where they're filming out in the open as opposed to the closed sets of Northern Ireland. I must stress the spoiler warning here. This video will contain mega spoilers for the upcoming season. If you don't want to hear speculation about who is going where and what is going to happen in Season 7, I suggest that you don't continue. My last video had a lot of leaked stuff, but Spain has provided a lot more info, including certain important cast members filming their scenes. You've officially been warned, so let's jump right in it. After my last video, some of you asked about Sansa, who hadn't shown up in the photos from Belfast yet. This week, she popped up on set wearing her red wig for the first time. We didn't get a lot of surprising info on what or who she was shooting with, but we did get some cool shots with Kit Harington and Bella Ramsey, who plays Lyanna Mormont. So the characters on the set at the same time as her were Davos, Jon Snow, Lyanna Mormont, Brienne, and Podrick. No shockers there, but still exciting that things are moving. Twitter user Yuckster also caught this photo at London City Airport. Tobias plays Edmure Tully, so he was returning from Belfast when this picture was taken. This means that we'll probably see Edmure in Season 7, which opens up a lot to speculate about. Do you think this means that Edmure's niece, Arya, might be paying him a visit now that she's assassinated the Freys who were holding him? We can't know for sure, but I, for one, am glad that we'll get to see some Edmure next season. The last big sighting from Belfast was Ellie Kendrick, who plays Mira Reed. This isn't that surprising since we pretty much knew she would be in the next season, but where she was shooting is exciting. These photos were taken at Moneyglass, which is the location that is the home to the Winterfell set. Watchers on the wall reported that unless Game of Thrones pulled a fast one and started to use the same site for other scenes after using it only for Winterfell for a long time, this would mean that Mira is arriving at Winterfell. Obviously, where Mira goes, we can expect Bran to go, so this could mean that Bran is going home. In the last video, I talked about how Bran would be shooting a scene with Dolorous Edd at the Wall, but wasn't sure if he would make it down to Winterfell or not. This isn't a full confirmation by any means, but it does seem more likely now. Of course, Bran and Mira could get separated or something like that, but let's keep in mind that Mira's role on the show is to travel with and keep an eye on Bran. I hope we see the Starks all together at Winterfell, so let's cross our fingers. The last little nugget from Northern Ireland is a photo of an unknown actor who could be playing an unknown character. If you guys have any ideas on who this might be, then let me know in the comments. Now on to the mega spoilers. The stuff that has come out of Northern Ireland has been interesting and pretty normal as far as what you expect to see during filming. The stuff in Spain, on the other hand, has been mind-blowing. I must give a lot of credit to the paparazzi because honestly, the pictures we've seen make it look as though you could just walk up and start watching them film right there. So much info has poured out of Spain this week that I should stress again, if you don't want some of the major story points spoiled for Season 7, stop watching now. These guys have pretty much been filming the crew filming the scenes. Since there's so much, I'll just start from the beginning of the week and bring you up to present because pretty much every day this week has provided at least one crazy revelation. The first pictures we got were of the crew setting up the different filming locations and getting things ready. The crew arrived early to prepare some of the rockiest shorelines of the Basque country, and on Tuesday the cast started showing up on set. Last video I talked about Dany treating with Davos and Brienne, which has been speculated about, but this time I can tell you for certain that Davos and Tyrion will be meeting on a beach. A local newspaper, El Correo, posted a video that shows the two characters having a conversation near a small boat. The clip's about 4 minutes long and we can clearly see both characters in their costumes. Tyrion has a new black look that is like what we saw Daenerys wearing when she made him her hand last season, and Davos, well, he's dressed like Davos. We can't really tell what they're doing, but it looks like Davos is getting set to leave, or maybe he just arrived in the small boat. The location of the meeting is pretty significant as well, since the most likely place they're shooting here is Dragonstone. I'm going to put out a separate video talking about Dragonstone's history later this week, but if you don't remember, this is where, Stannis used to be located. It's also the ancestral home of the Targaryens from the time they first came to the west, and it's where Daenerys was born. After the Tyrion and Davos scene popped up, things quieted down a bit, but lots of pictures started rolling out on Twitter from Zemea and a place I can't really pronounce, so I won't try, that's in Bermeo. This site is a small islet connected to the mainland by this cool looking bridge. It had been curious that while filming was getting ready to start that there hadn't been much preparation, but on the day before the shooting was scheduled to start, a local news channel noticed that they added these beacons along the bridge, which is pretty much all it needed to look like something out of Game of Thrones. On the beach at Zemea, the crew was adding stone structures to make it look more like the other location, and we got a shot of them setting up to shoot around a cave. Again, all of this would indicate that Dragonstone is going to be where something goes down, but we're also going to see an unrelated scene being shot at these locations as well. On the same day, actors like Kit Harington and Natalie Emmanuel were spotted coming into town. At the very same time, reports from Muriola Beach, where the Davos and Tyrion scene was shot, started rolling in. Los Siete Reinos reported that the morning scene involved Davos, Tyrion, and Gendry. The first scene had them landing on shore, but later in the day they shot a separate scene that looked like it involved gold cloaks. Later, a video with raw footage of the scene emerged to provide a better idea of what was going on. It appears that Davos and Gendry are together preparing the boat to leave when the two gold cloaks come up. Davos demonstrates that the boat is innocently empty by pulling back the tarp. He appears then to bribe the gold cloaks or try to give them something, and they turn to leave, but just then Tyrion walks out and things change. The gold cloaks see Tyrion and come back. Perhaps they recognize him. He is a famous dwarf and a Lannister. And then Davos tries to talk to them again, but the guards are grabbing at their swords. That's when Gendry intervenes, picks up his warhammer from the boat, and starts striking them down from behind. Then Davos, Tyrion, and Gendry push the boat offshore and get the hell out of Dodge. Think about that for a second. You know who else used a warhammer? Gendry's freaking dad, King Robert Baratheon. How Gendry gets hooked back up with these guys is beside the point. He is savaging gold cloaks with a warhammer. Also, gold cloaks are from the City Watch of King's Landing. So this part of the beach isn't Dragonstone. Instead, it's probably on the shores of Blackwater Bay, which is where you would probably land if you were coming to King's Landing from Dragonstone. Later, some more news was confirmed about this scene by Los Siete Reinos again. Apparently, Davos does not attempt to bribe them with gold, but with some crabs that he promises are an aphrodisiac. This doesn't work, so Gendry has to whack them with his new warhammer, which we know is marked by the House Baratheon stag sigil. If there was any doubt that Gendry had forged it himself, well, that would indicate that he has. Furthermore, L7R has learned that this episode is the 5th of the season, which is only a few before the finale, and that it was directed by Matt Shakman. If this would have been the last news to come out of Spain, I would have felt pleasantly overwhelmed with all the leakage. But on the very next day, El Correo dropped even bigger bombs from the bridge where we saw they had installed those beacons. Over the next 2 days, this bridge at what looks to be Dragonstone had some very important characters spotted on it. First, we got some glimpses of the Dothraki with some added fur to their outfits on the set nearby, and then we saw Missandei, Daenerys' #1 companion, dressed in a new getup. After that, we got this gem with Jon Snow dressed like a king in the north with Davos by his side. This seems to confirm that Jon is traveling south to Daenerys' home base. If you aren't convinced, check out the Dothraki guarding the walkway in this next photo. Jon is confirmed to be traveling with Davos somewhere that is controlled by Daenerys' Dothraki. There just isn't a different explanation for this. As if all of this wasn't enough, yesterday fans got what they were hoping for. A shot of Daenerys with her entourage on the same bridge. Emilia Clarke had been spotted coming into town the same night that Jon and Davos were seen shooting, and the next morning we got a photo of Dany, Tyrion, Grey Worm, Varys, and Missandei all on the bridge. With her hand of the Queen Tyrion at her side, the Mother of Dragons appears to be headed to treat with the King in the North, Jon Snow. Later in that same shoot, we got images that include members of the Northern entourage, Jon and Davos, with Missandei and Tyrion. Dany isn't pictured in this scene, but we can imagine if they are going to meet to talk, it would probably happen inside of Dragonstone anyways, and that would be shot at their studios. Either way, seeing these four walking together is unreal, and I can't wait to see how this all goes down. There was one last bit of news that came out today when I was writing this script. It's that Phillip O'Sullivan has joined the cast this year. Per Watchers on the Wall, his CV now reads that his last job was playing a maester at the Citadel in Game of Thrones Season 7. There isn't much more that we know, but this is the first we've heard about Sam's storyline, so let's hope we get more news about that in the coming weeks. So, wow, just a ton of new stuff to speculate about. Plus, the crew is readying another beach location for new filming that will be starting this Monday coming up. It's almost hard to pick out what's most exciting out of this batch of stuff. I mean, obviously Dany and Jon coming together at Dragonstone is huge, but just think about the different reunions that are coming up for Tyrion. He's been gone from Westeros for some time and was on opposite sides of the Battle of the Blackwater against Davos. In fact, his wildfire tactic wiped out Davos's oldest sons, and they have some history. Also, he was close with Jon when he was at the Wall, so they haven't seen each other in quite some time either. I don't think the new stuff really changes much about what we've been talking about over the last couple months. One thing to think about, though, is Dragonstone has a dragon pit as well as King's Landing, so there is a possibility that the early rumors about Dany being at King's Landing might have been incorrect. I don't know, though. If Davos, Brienne, and Daenerys are supposed to meet up at a dragon pit, it's possible that Dany and Davos are there together meeting with Brienne. If Jon came south and Sansa was left to take care of things in the north, then it's possible this would be a coming together of the different factions in King's Landing, perhaps after Queen Cersei is removed from the throne. At this point, there is so much news swirling around, it's hard to keep it all straight. Even if we don't know how things are going to play out, we have a lot to think about before season 7 gets started. And we have Gendry forging a warhammer with the Baratheon stag on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment. Where the hell has he been for ever? Before I get going, I wanted to do another shout out for a YouTube channel for charity called Trial by Trivia. I'll put a link up top and in the description. It's a fun concept where you can go watch a live stream where the guys and girls ask questions and you can compete against other Game of Thrones fans in the trivia chat. It's a lot of fun, and they also put together tournaments pitting different YouTube creators against each other. They've asked me to participate in the next tournament, which will be teams, so hopefully whoever they pair me up with will be able to carry my ass, because their questions are really episode specific and tough. Either way, you'll have the potential chance to see me get embarrassed on a live stream for charity. It's a win-win, really. Please like this video if you want to see more videos like it, and leave me some comments about your theories from all of what's come out this week, tinfoil or otherwise. Subscribe to my channel to keep up with all the latest news, and leave a comment to be eligible for my subscriber book giveaway. When I hit 18,000 subscribers, I will use a random comment picker to decide the winner, and I'll send that subscriber a copy of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. You should also check out all of my other Game of Thrones Season 7 videos and comment on those for a better chance at winning. I'll link my Season 7 playlist right at the top here, and I just added a War for the Dawn video yesterday and one about Euron Greyjoy's history the day before that, so be sure to check those out. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.